We are live from the News Hub here in Accra. Good evening and welcome to News 360. I am Isa Moni.
And I am Solis Rose Quarte. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Voting proceeds in New Patriotic Party regional executive elections in Bono Ahafo region without Electoral Commission officials.
20% of island communities in Afram Plains South District in the Eastern region are not covered by immunization services.
And boat operators at Gemini in the Volta region call off strike following interventions by high officials.
In international news, a Liberian warlord jailed in the United States for 30 years for lying about his role in the Liberian Civil War.
We have all these stories and more, including sports as well as entertainment, coming up in the next 60 minutes. Let's do some politics for starters, and voting is in progress in the MPP regional elections in the Bono Ahafo region. Now, earlier, the New Patriotic Party's Bono Ahafo regional elections were marred by confusion after the party attempted to begin voting despite the absence of officials from the Electoral Commission, the EC. The confusion stemmed from disagreements over a court injunction placed on the elections by the Atebubuamentin constituency branch of the MPP. Now, the election proceeded after party leaders decided to go ahead with voting for party executives in spite of the supposed court injunction placed on it.
An election stalemate caused by a court injunction barring the MPP Regional Executives Election Committee from organizing the regional elections did not go well with the regional delegates who gathered to vote. And for more than 2 hours, there was an uproar with chants of "We shall vote" by the contestants and the delegates, which reverberated through the conference hall. This prompted the party elders and leadership to hold a quick consultation to resolve the issue. Calm returned to the gathering when a decision was taken to conduct the voting. Due to the court injunction that barred the Electoral Commission from conducting the elections, the party leadership formed a committee to conduct and supervise the elections. One of the party leaders confided in our correspondent that the party intends to negotiate for the court injunction to be withdrawn for an amicable settlement. With the exception of one unopposed candidate, 9 positions are being contested for.
Right, let's go to the Bono Ahafo region and speak to Larry Pakwesi Moses. Larry, we understand voting is in progress, and what else can you bring us up to speed with?
Yes, if our voting is still underway, we started voting around 5:30 to 6 o'clock. It took over 3 hours of uproar from supporters and, for that matter, delegates and candidates for them to resolve the issue. Initially, there was a court injunction, so the electoral college of the NPP were afraid to actually go ahead with the election. But later, it sat down and said, no matter the injunction, with or without the injunction, voting must go on because people have traveled far and wide to the place. And then it will be a cost to the party if voting is postponed. So, as I'm speaking to you, Aisha, voting is underway, and I can tell you that there's no end in sight, Peter.
Right, we understand the injunction or the attempted injunction was placed by the constituency members from the Atebubuamentin area. Have you noticed or seen any of them around, and what are they saying since voting is underway?
Yes, I saw the constituency chairman of the Atebubuamentin here, and I asked him whether he's aware of any injunction from his constituency. And what he tells me is that he is not privy to that injunction. This is what he told me. And for that matter, they have even voted. Those executives from the Achille Amantin have voted, Issa, as I'm speaking to you.
So, Pakwese, how do you see the progress of voting? Is everything going on smoothly and in an orderly manner? Issa,
it is very, very, very slow as I'm speaking to you now. It takes not less than 20 to 25 minutes for a person to cast his or her ballot. And this is creating a whole lot of problems within the venue, because if it was the YEC, you know how the YEC conduct their elections, smooth and orderly. But as I'm speaking to you now, there's an improvised ballot boxes that they have to go with. So it's creating a whole lot of problems. I mean, you have to move people outside, bring them one after the other for them to cast their vote. It's a murky situation here at the Pastoral Center in Sunyani.
Right, Larry Pakwese, we're grateful for a report. You're watching News 360. We definitely will bring you more updates from other parts of the country where voting is still going on.
Indeed, Issa, let's head to the Central region where voting of the MPP regional elections is ongoing at Cape Coast, and it started at 1 p.m. in 19 of the 23 constituencies. Now, let's cross over to our reporter, Kwabena Edujemfi. He's going to be giving us some updates on the elections. Good evening, Kwabena. What can you report?
All right, good evening, Melissa. At the moment, I'm coming to you from Kaswa, where the Central Regional Annual Delegate Conference, the regional executive elections are currently underway. The elections actually started around 1 and ended around 5. No, that's exactly 5 when the elections came to an end. And as I speak to you now, some of the officers' opposition's results, they just finished counting them. I can run you by the figures we have here so far, but then I must say that the biggest figures that we have here at the moment are not certified results. I'm talking about the NASA coordinator, which was the first office that was counted, and Abubakar Osman had 269 votes. Abubakar Al-Hassan, who was also a contender, had 141. Gafaru said he had 23, and Al-Hadi said Mala also had 23. So clearly, based on the figures that we have here, Abubakar Osman, who had 269 votes, is the winner. But then I must say again that these figures, though, are credible, but they are not certified results from the Electoral Commission here. And we also had a woman organizer, that is Charlotte Adwa Enchi, who had 203, and then her other contenders were Gipsy Akwa, who also had 94 votes, and then Agnes Owusu, who also had 198 votes. So again, based on the figures that we have here, Charlotte Adwa Enchi is the women's organizer-elect right here at the Central Region MPP women's organizer. But then again, these figures are not certified by the Electoral Commission, but then they are credible. And then you also have the youth organizer, Kenneth Kwanzaa, had 222 votes. Anthony Saki also had 222 votes. So there is a tie here. And then there is Justice Edu, who also had 11 votes. And I must say that 29 candidates vied for 10 positions, and there are 464 delegates in all. We're talking about the MPs and anyone, all the people who are involved, who are supposed to take part in the process. In all, there are 464. At the moment, counting is still ongoing for other positions, and I must say that security is very tight here. For instance, if you're a media person, you don't have accreditation, you will not be allowed to come in here. So if you have accreditation, you have to be allowed, but then if you don't have accreditation and then you claim to be a delegate or a media person, you have to prove before you are given access to the place. So I can confirm or say that the process has been smooth so far, apart from the fact that there was a brief lighthouse here which nearly marked the process, but then the process is ongoing smoothly right here, solid.
Okay, thank you very much, Kwabena Edujemfi, our correspondent on the ground currently at Kaswa in the Central Region.
Now let's bring you more on the MPP regional executive elections and some updates from Accra. The chairman of COB-A group of companies, Divine Otu, has defeated acting regional chairman of the NPP, Alfred Boy, to become the party's substantive regional chairman. The newly elected chairman says he will ensure the party works in unity under his leadership for victory in 2020 and beyond.
And candidate number 1, Divine Otu Abraham, had 276 votes, representing 45.17%. So Divine Otu Abraham is the chairman elect for Greater Accra region.
On their behalf, I made a promise that we will work assiduously to ensure that we bring everybody on board, bring the best strategies possible to ensure that we go beyond 2024.
Divine Agom, who is a 3-time parliamentary candidate for the Sege constituency and a former first vice chairman of the Greater Accra region, won by 7 votes. Swearing in the newly elected executives, National Youth Organizer for the NPP, Samuel Uku, urged the executives to work with all to seal the unity in the party. The election, which began at 1:30 and ended at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday at the Trade Fair Center in Accra, was calm and peaceful until the counting began. Out of the total valid vote of 611, Mr. Agom had 276, Alfred Boy had 269, and the last aspirant, Archibald Kobner, who is also the Greater Accra Regional Coordinator of NADMO, had 66 votes. But Alfred Boy would not accept this defeat, insisting on a recount. After much persuasions and oppositions, the votes were recounted, forcing Alfred Boy to reluctantly accept the defeat. Other elected executives were Ni Ajay Taria as first vice chair, Joanna Frances Ada as second vice chair, Daniel Odale Parker Francis as secretary, Baba Seidu as assistant secretary, Rachel Abena Tutu as treasurer, and Prince Obin as organizer. Others were Moses Abo as youth organizer, Grace Champon as women organizer, and Alhaji Kamil Hussein as Nasara coordinator.
Well, you're still watching News 360. Don't forget that we're live on DSTV channel 279. Now let's move away from politics and do some other stories. Now, 20% of 253 island communities in the Afram Plains South District of the Eastern Region do not receive any form of immunization services. Children in these communities are prone to vaccine-preventable diseases. Peter Kwao Adato has been touring some of the hard-to-reach communities in preparation for this year's World Immunization Week and has come through with the following report.
Ghana is among the 65 developing countries that is not able to achieve the 90% national coverage target in immunization of children under a year old. The Ghana Health Service information also showed that non-immunization is most prevalent in isolated communities, especially those along the Volta Lake. Again, data from the municipal and district health directorates showed that shortfalls in coverage are largely due to the fact that community health nurses are unable to reach some of the remote, deprived and hard-to-reach areas. The situation is worse during the rainy season, where the Afram Plains South District in the Eastern Region has a unique situation. Rain or shine, 20% of the 253 island communities have no access to healthcare services and child welfare clinics.
And getting access to these people in the island community is very, very difficult for us due to the limited resources that we have.
Long hours spent on the lake to get to settler community is a disincentive enough, not mentioning the absence of structures to facilitate medical attention.
We got to find out that there are a lot of default cases in terms of immunization, in terms of antenatal, and then general health conditions as well. A lot of the community members have to travel to Kotoso or other Echi for health services, and that necessitated our coming here and our willingness to support the community.
But for a 5-year project dubbed Gavi HSS project, children in these communities will continue to be exposed to vaccine-preventable diseases. The project, initiated by the Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health through its selected registered member organizations, has increased access to immunization coverage in the 20 project communities on the Afram Plains Islands.
It was through the support of Gavi we were able to visit these island communities regularly, and it contributed 7 to 8% to our district coverage. The previous years it's even difficult for us to get 4% of the island coverage.
The national chairman of the Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health, Gabriel Benaku, has therefore called for collaboration with relevant state agencies in order to reach out to those communities still outside the coverage zones to fast-track the Agenda 999 by the year 2020.
If we do that, Ghana will have a very enviable immunization program. And once we invest in children and women, the likelihood for the economy to boom faster is higher than when we play a lean role by not having the immunization fund.
You're watching News 360, and let's do some other stories. The Ministry of Health would from Monday, April 23 to Sunday, April 29, jointly mark the Africa Vaccination Week and Child Health Promotion Week in all health facilities and outreach posts across the country. Dr. Kwame Amponsa Achiano, the Senior Public Health Physician Specialist, expanded program on immunization, Ghana Health Service, and we're glad to have him here in the studio. We'll definitely expand this discussion on immunization. Doc, it's good to see you. Welcome.
Good to see you, sir. Good evening. And
good evening
to your cherished viewers.
Thank you very much, Doc. Tell us about immunization. How important is this?
Thank you very much. Immunization actually is one of the most cost-effective interventions when it comes to public health interventions. It's argued that it's only second to water in terms of combating diseases or preventing diseases. So immunization is very, very important, especially in the life of children.
In the life of children. Okay, so but how do you react to this particular story?
Yes, when I heard it, it sent chills down my spine. Yes, we do have challenges with the island and riverine communities. Actually, it's not only the Afram Plains South District, but there are several other communities along the Volta Lake where we have challenges. But the statistics actually are not, I'm not too sure they are correct, because we've heard it before. We've been in touch with the districts. Yes, they acknowledge that there are challenges, but so 20% is a bit on the higher side. It's
a bit on the higher side. We know that,
and even the communities, there are only 232 communities within the Afram Plains South. And out of these, 47 are on the islands. So to say that 253 island communities
is quite huge.
Huge, yes.
I mean,
but as I said earlier, we do have challenges.
So, I mean, is Ghana Health Service doing anything in particular to reach out to the communities that need such intervention?
Yes, you know, Ghana Health Service is not just at a national level. It's, Ghana Health Service is decentralized. Actually, the ministry is decentralized. So the unit of operation is the district. And as I said, we do have challenges, but I know the district makes a lot of effort to get these children. Our last checks indicated that where they have CHIPS compounds on some of the islands. For example, we have Chuchukope, where there is a chip compound that serves 8 of these island communities. Additionally, Eche, where the Pantone is, also has about, it has a chip compound, also has a Catholic health service that deliver services to 12 communities. on the islands. So that leaves about 27 of these 47.
Yeah.
And I know the district assembly supports them, but unfortunately, during the rainy season, it's quite difficult for them to go. But in the dry season, they do make a lot of attempts, and during the dry season, they are dry lands, so they try and wade through the water.
The rains are about to set in now. In fact, in some part of the country, I know it rains regularly. So what will happen if we slacken in our attempt to carry out this immunization
Of course,
program?
if we do, some children will be left out, and even if a child is left out, life is very important. And for example, a polio case anywhere is a polio case everywhere. Meaning one person who contracts a disease can spread it across board. But as I said, there are attempts, and we still need the support of all stakeholders. There have been attempts. I know the district assembly support is quite expensive going on the island. Sometimes they consume close to two barrels of fuel. A drum.
A drum.
Yes.
To get there. When you're going by boat, that's what you mean.
Exactly. When they go by boat, and then they put their motorbikes in the boats, and then, as it were, when they get there, then they are able to navigate their way to see the children. So sometimes when they go, they spend 5 days, 7 days, and it's not just immunization they do a complete integrated service. But again, 2 drums of fuel in and out is quite expensive, and that is why the challenges are huge.
Right. So bring us up to speed. What would happen in a particular, let's say this week, if the immunization program, sets up? What will happen in the week?
Actually, immunization has been going on. Next week, it's only a week for us to heighten awareness. You can akin it to, it can be akin to, let's say, a couple who decide to go on a holiday to revamp their love, It's just, immunization is always going on. But next week, we are trying to heighten awareness, the fact that immunization is free. There are other child health interventions, including bed net distribution, vitamin A supplementation, deworming, that people should access. So it's just a period to create more awareness. But otherwise, immunization is always going on.
It's always going on. Dr. Amponsa Kwame Achiano, we're very grateful for your time. Thank you for speaking to bring us this vital information at this time of the year when the rains are just.
You can always get interactive with us via our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram. News 360 continues shortly after this. Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission, which is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid, and the European Union. And tonight, authorities at the East Gonja Municipal Hospital have started a renovation exercise in some wards after TV3 Mission's expose of challenges impeding quality healthcare. The Municipal Assembly has also fixed one of the 2 hospital ambulances.
The East Gonja Municipal Hospital is located in Salaga. The facility is a major referral center and provides healthcare to more than 40,000 patients annually. However, the hospital has challenges. 3 months ago, when the mission team visited the facility, several wards were in poor conditions. One of the hospital's ambulances had broken down for years without repairs. The maternity ward, for instance, lacked space and had only 1 incubator which malfunctions.
If we actually come and we take a whole year deliverance, you actually appreciate that we are getting a lot of delivery. And when it comes to preterm baby, as we said, referring mothers from Salaga to Tamale, we have a transportation problem. So most of them will not like to go. They always force us to manage cases we cannot manage here. So if we can get somebody who can actually provide an incubator, it will help us a lot.
The children's ward was also in shambles, while laboratories lacked gadgets. These setbacks were compounded by the presence of deadly road network in the municipality. But 3 months on, after the mission team reported on these challenges, they are being addressed. The children's ward has received painting. A new ceiling had been fixed, while new electrical appliances have been installed. Other wards are equally being worked on to provide safety and comfort to patrons of the facility.
When you came 3 months ago, we had one of the biggest issues we had was to do with our infrastructure. And then one of the reasons why our infrastructure was very poor was the erratic flow of funds, especially from the NHIA. But thankfully we have had some reimbursement from the NHIA, and then because of that the hospital has been able to use some of the IGF to do some renovation works at our pediatric ward.
Referral cases to a higher facility can now be possible after the East Gonja Municipal Assembly helped to fix one of the ambulances that broke down barely a year ago. As part of measures to improve healthcare in this facility, the East Gonja Municipal Assembly released funds to fix the ambulance you see right behind me, so that preterm babies and other patients whose condition cannot be catered for by this facility would be referred to the Tamale Teaching Hospital for further care. The medical superintendent at the hospital wants more to be done.
If you pick this district, which serves as a major referral point for the other districts, there's no referral for our neonates. If you pick Pandai and then the Bimbila district, so we are hoping that by the close of this year, with the help of philanthropists, we should be able to set up our neonatal intensive care unit to ensure that our babies are living beyond their 28 days.
Although efforts are being channeled towards addressing some of the challenges confronting the hospital, much more would be required from stakeholders to improve healthcare delivery at the facility. Stanley Niblewi, TV3 News, Salaga.
And now to education. Pupils of the Mbora DA Primary School in the Mandai district of the Northern Region are compelled to bring firewood and water from home daily before school feeding caterers can prepare their meals. The practice, coupled with inadequate furniture, is affecting the school's enrollment.
It is a bright Tuesday morning at the Mbora DA Basic School. Attendance is high, but there is no teacher. Few minutes later, some teachers arrive and lessons begin. The school, which serves Mbora and 4 other communities, is among several deprived educational facilities in the Pandai district.
Some of the classes are put together in one apartment, and others they are sitting under sheds, even on the bare floor. So in the case of the upper primary 4, 5, and 6, they are in a pavilion and sitting on the bare floor. Some have no furniture to sit on. So it has a serious implication on their learning.
Every class lacks furniture. Pupils sit on broken pieces of desk. Even here, it is first come, first served, leaving many sitting on the floor. Class 4, 5, and 6 pupils occupy a dusty pavilion constructed by the Parents-Teacher Association. Certain exercises are done on the floor. This affects sitting posture.
It has actually discouraged a lot of children from enrolling into the school, because as at now, if you go into the community, you see a lot of children sitting there. Most often, I do leave the school premises and go into the community, sack the children to come to school. They will come all right, but the following day, they decline. You follow up to ask why, and they tell you they came the previous day, they didn't get places to sit. And they cannot imagine sitting on the floor when their counterparts in the towns are sitting in well-built classrooms. So how can that be?
For the nursery pupils, their only option in writing is the floor. This has affected enrollment. Even those enrolled dropped out because school is not attractive.
Because mkwadano bebre frebabi awo kakra no ana ne omo kuruma ha no ebemuso ntiase nyamba o motimu nti ya ban kwan ha no yes suku nkwada ne nyina omoba omodwane fa kwa fese nkonja ni ho ana kwa so se nkonja ni ho.
Attendance in this school continue to dwindle simply because pupils cannot afford to be sitting on the bare floor, all in the name of seeking for education. And this has been a source of worry to teachers. The Mbora DA Basic School is a beneficiary of the school feeding program, but pupils do not get food easily. Water is a prized commodity, and so pupils are compelled to bring water and firewood from home before meals can be prepared.
If it so happens that they don't bring firewood and cooking is not done, because they are used to it, sometimes it is difficult to get them to even sit down and learn. Because, like I said earlier on, they run into the community, the guys of going to eat and come back. And when they go back, it becomes difficult for most of them to return to the classrooms.
This has been the practice for the past 1 year. Is the Pandai District Education Directorate aware of this practice?
I'm not aware that people bring water and firewood for them to prepare food for them. Maybe I am yet to be given the feedback because this program has just started and maybe I have not yet been able to go around to actually inspect the school feeding programs or circuit supervisors giving me reports, so I have no idea about that.
The District Education Director assures of immediate measures to deal with the situation.
That should not be the practice because children are not supposed to bring firewood, because if you are the caterer, it behoves on you to bring firewood to prepare meals for the children. I myself will go there, find out from whom the caterer is, and then talk to the caterer to change the attitude of asking school children to bring firewood and then fetching water for their meals to be prepared. If he doesn't change, then I will be compelled to report it to the district assembly so that together we take action.
The Mbora Junior High School is also challenged. Classes are controlled by the weather as students are accommodated under a thatched shelter. South Africa's late president, Nelson Mandela, once said that education is the right tool to change the world. If indeed education is the right tool to change the Mbora community, then stakeholders must prioritize committing resources to address the plight of the Mbora school. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Mbora.
And I'm Solis Rose Corte, live from the News Hub here at Adesanwe. And that's all for Mission 4 this evening. It's supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union.
Let's do some more news stories tonight. The Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs is to establish a royal college in collaboration with the University of Professional Studies, Accra. And the Sector Minister, Kofi Jamesi, believes such a college will re-equip traditional leaders to better deal with emerging challenges. Kofi Jamesi disclosed this at the graduation of the third batch of participants of the Tumfor Center for Leadership at the University of Professional Studies in Accra.
The Chieftaincy Institution is a time-tested local governance system spread across the grassroots level with an effective arbitration and control mechanism effective in dealing with all manner of issues. Unfortunately, modern civilization, colonialism, and adulteration from foreign cultures have worked against and undermined the influence of chiefs and queens in a traditional setting. Again, because chieftaincy is hereditary, sometimes those who are sent to the throne have little or no formal education to guide their deliberations. The effect of the gap created under such conditions, coupled with modern administration needs, prompted the institutionalization of the Tumfor Center for Traditional Leadership at the University of Professional Studies. But the sector minister maintained the chieftaincy institution deserves more than just a center.
The chiefs don't know much about the Chieftaincy Acts as to what exactly they are supposed to do. The chiefs do not even know the rights given to them by the Constitution. So a college is supposed to give them, of course, the understanding of the laws that guide the chieftaincy, whilst at the same time giving them that leadership training which they need to be able to perform better in their communities.
He again recounted the role of chiefs in the stability of any nation and announced plans to enroll all gazetted chiefs and queens on monthly allowances.
The ultimate is to ensure that all gazetted chiefs in this country get some allowance. But for now, for lack of funds, we are limiting it to paramount chiefs and queen mothers.
Leponwura Alhaji MD Jawula is the director of the Otumfuo Center for Traditional Leadership.
Let's have as many chiefs as possible. When it's necessary, we may come around the regions. If your numbers are big enough, you can come to Bolgatanga, to Wa, to Tamale, to Kumasi, to Sunyani, Cape Coast, Takoradi, or anywhere, and organize these courses for everybody.
Vice Chancellor of UPSA, Professor Abednego Oko-Fehi Amate, pledged their readiness and support for this initiative.
I'm so happy for the intention that has been announced that very soon we are going to have a royal college. We can't help but to associate ourselves with this and to ensure that we take it to the next level.
The 3-year leadership course awards a diploma certificate to deserving participants. This year's diploma graduates included the paramount queen of Nkonya traditional area, Nana Otubia II, and other prominent traditional leaders from across the country.
And now to some other stories. Boat operators at Gemini in the Volta region have called off their indefinite strike following the intervention of the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Yao Lecha, and the chairman of the Premix Committee, Ni Lante Banaman. The boat operators have resolved to call off the strike following a pledge to set up an independent body to investigate their claims. A report by Robert Abilba.
The intervention by the chairman of the National Premix Fuel Committee, Nilante Banaman, and the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Yao Lecha, followed a TV3 report on the premix fuel challenge at Gemini. The boat operators embarked on an indefinite strike in demand for transparency in the distribution of premix fuel in the area. The boat operators are again crying foul over the reduction in the number of landing beaches from 10 to 4, which has complicated the distribution of premix fuel. They insist the act is a deliberate attempt to create artificial shortage of premix fuel to enable corrupt people to manipulate the system. Unfortunately, series of complaints to the South Dai Assembly have fallen on deaf ears, hence the strike. The impact was instant as activities in the popular Gemini market was almost brought to a halt, thus affecting revenue mobilization. Cephas Agbamanu is the chairman of the Boat Owners Association.
The situation was greatly affecting our business. Traders and other commuters continue to be stranded out here because we have no fuel to operate. This necessitated our action since no one was prepared to hear us.
The news report moved the National Premix Fuel Committee chairman and the Volta Regional Minister from their comfort zones to Gemini.
Everyone is highly important. This strike has shown the importance of boat owners. However, I can only appeal to you all to bury your differences and come together to resolve the issue. It is for the good of all the people of Gemini and the region at large.
We know what is enough for Gemini, we know what is enough for Haiti, we know what is enough for Bide. But the activities there cannot be compared to what we do here. So I believe we will liaise as leaders, come up with a good monitoring system so that when the fuel comes, it stays in.
National Chairman of the Premix Fuel Committee, Nilante Banaman, who pleaded with the boat operators to return to work, promised to put in place a monitoring team to ensure sanity in the sale of premix fuel there.
Right, we'll return shortly with the latest from the world of sports. You're watching News 360. In international news tonight, a Liberian warlord known as Django Jabba has been sentenced to 30 years in prison in the United States for lying about his role in his country's civil war. Mohammed Jabate was found guilty of immigration fraud for falsely telling U.S. authorities in the 1990s that he had never belonged to an armed group.
And in other international news, Zimbabwe's parliament has summoned former President Robert Mugabe to give evidence about a claim he made about a huge-scale diamond theft. Mr. Mugabe accused foreign mining firms of swindling and smuggling in an interview on state-run TV in 2016. It is not clear if the 94-year-old will agree to appear before the committee. He was forced to resign last December in the wake of a military takeover and still has the privileges of a former head of state.
Up next is some entertainment news.
Right, so in entertainment this evening, veteran actor Sam Ajetifu, popularly known as TT in the TV series Taxi Driver, has dispelled rumors that he has died. In a post trending on Facebook, the veteran actor is rumored to have died on Saturday, April 21. Worried about the post, fans reacted by sending messages of condolences. Now, in a phone conversation with our entertainment reporter Owusu Rai, the popular actor, who is currently unwell, expressed disappointment in the development, noting that he is not dead and that his situation has rather improved.
What has been the difference? How was the situation then and how is it now? Let's paint a picture for our viewers to see the level of improvement.
Yes, 3 months ago, like by now I'll be panting. I couldn't talk straight. You see me going like this. Sometimes like this for 2 hours continuously. And there was almost no strength. But now I could talk, I could chat with you, laugh. No, there was nothing like smile, no. So it was tough. It wasn't easy. But God has kept faith. You understand me? Yeah, God has kept faith. And that's why I'm still alive. Look at me today, I'm sick. People have invited me for rest. I said, sorry, I can't.
Why?
As I said, it's got to do with it's a heart problem. And so you move a few steps and then you are panting heavily. The heart can't take it. And so you need to stop. And then no filmmaker will have that patience for you. That, okay, after every 10 minutes rest. No. So you better sit down.
Right, so you are saying that you have turned down a couple of offers to act because of your health condition.
Yeah, that is the situation. As I'm talking to you now, somebody called me the other time and he said there is something coming where we'll have to go to all the 10 regions in Ghana. The moment he said this, I told myself no. So I had a chat with my doctors. The moment I mentioned it, they said no. They are taking care of you. And we are talking about a heart. A little thing and that's it.
How are you surviving then?
Yeah, that is where you come. One thing I love doing is telling people about God. So I go to schools and preach. I am happy that the little strength in me, I could do that work because it gives me so much joy. Whenever I talk to people about God, I feel so happy deep down. You know what? And so that is what is happening. But as to go and work, then I will be asking for trouble. Once you submit to God, you work for Him, and then it is His business to care for you. It's been a tough fight, and that is why sometimes when you are young, settling to serve God is not easy.
Speaking about serving God, Sam Ajetifu also says that he is putting his acting career on hold to serve God and preach the gospel fully.
Quit
What else haven't I done? I've done a whole lot of things. I've done a whole lot of things. And the reason why you are here is a recognition of the work I've done. Now, what is God going to judge you by? Yes, you've served the world, the best part of your life. What have you done for me? Do we ever stop to ask our questions? What have you done for your maker?
Can we say that for now, acting can rest? You have quit acting.
I am sure I've quit. I was telling my children, I've quit. I don't believe in retirement. You don't retire on acting.
Definitely a veteran there. We wish him the best in health. And that's how we wrap up News 360 tonight. But before we go, a recap of the headlines.
Voting underway in new Patriotic Party regional executive elections in the Bono region without Electoral Commission officials.
Now, 20% of island communities in the Afam Plains South District in the Eastern region are not covered by immunization services.
And both operators at Germany in the Volta region call off strike following intervention by high officials. Both the Volta region minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, and the chairman of the regional Premix Fuel Committee, Ni Lante Bannerman.
And a Liberian warlord jailed in the U.S. for 30 years for lying about his role in the Liberian Civil War.
Well, that's all, and we wish Sam Ajiti the very best. That's all we can wish him, and we thank him for serving our country. My name is Issa Moni. Thanks for watching News 360.
And I'm Solis Rose Gordy. Enjoy the rest of your evening.